Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Drug wars. It looks like the Food and Drug Administration will have to leave current restrictions on the morning after pill in place, following orders from the U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services. The Associated Press reports pro-abortion activist Kathleen Sebelius is dictating that laws governing the use of this dangerous contraceptive remain the same, contradicting the opinion of her staff. Secretary Sebelius says that young girls can't properly understand how to use the hormone-based drug without help from an adult. Before Sebelius' statement, the FDA was getting ready to lift the current law on the so-called Plan B contraceptive, which requires girls to have proof of being over 17 to purchase the hormonal drug. The effort behind getting the ban lifted comes from the suggestion of Teva Pharmaceuticals, who still want to see their morning after pill become the first ever over-the-counter emergency contraceptive. A global gay agenda. In a move that smacks of cultural imperialism, Barack Obama is dedicating tax dollars to so-called homosexual rights in a new memorandum that will actively seek to push the gay agenda all over the world. Cybernet News Service says the president signed the measure this week, calling it the, quote, first ever U.S. government strategy dedicated to combating human rights abuses against LGBT, or lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender persons abroad, end quote. The strategy uses any and all agencies in the government, according to the president's discretion, to, quote, counter discrimination on the basis of LGBT status, broaden the number of countries willing to support and defend LGBT issues in the multilateral arena, end quote. Meanwhile, Cybernet News Service points out Secretary of State Hillary Clinton told the United Nations in Geneva this week that religious beliefs and cultural values stand in the way of protecting the human rights of LGBT people. She says, quote, this is not unlike the justification offered for violent practices towards women like honor killings, widow burning, or female genital mutilation, end quote. Niederauer's rainbow. Some homosexuals in San Francisco are saying thank you to the Archbishop for not interfering with a Catholic parish's same-sex activism for their cause. LifeSite News says the Rainbow Sash movement, lobbyers for the Catholic Church to provide communion to homosexuals, says it is thankful to Archbishop George Hugh Niederauer for not making a move to cancel a non-Catholic homosexual speaker at Holy Redeemer Church last week. You may remember the parish only just recently allowed a former Episcopalian bishop, now, quote, married to his homosexual lover, to speak at Holy Redeemer. In an article entitled Archbishop of San Francisco Appears to be Defusing Homophobia in His Archdiocese, the group wrote, quote, we believe this is a significant step in courage on the part of the Archbishop, and he should be applauded for not being panicked into canceling the planned Advent service, end quote. Another pro-homosexual non-Catholic speaker is scheduled to visit Most Holy Redeemer soon as well for a December 14th Advent Vesper service. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Preventing prostitution. French lawmakers are fighting the problem of prostitution in Europe by proposing a new bill that would punish those who frequent prostitutes for sex. Catholic Online is reporting a cross-party commission will put together a symbolic resolution that, if passed, will result in legislation implemented in January of the coming year. France has endorsed the abolition of prostitution in principle since 1960, but members of parliament are calling for a measure to make, quote, loud and strong such sentiments. Daniel Bousquet, the socialist MP leading the drive for legislation, says the new bill will punish clients of prostitutes with $4,000 in fines and a 6-month term in prison. And finally, sexing Christmas. one of the largest abortion providers in the United Kingdom, is trying to attract more business by using sexually provocative advertising for the Christmas season once again. The British Pregnancy Advisory Service, or BPAS, advertisement poster is peddling the morning after pill with the claim that it sees more women with unplanned pregnancies in the month of January than any other month of the year. The ad itself is a picture of the word sex spelled out in Christmas lights with the caption, quote, "Getting turned on this Christmas?" A spokesperson for the Society for the Protection of Unborn Children points out that the BPAS is offering the gift of death in a season of life at a time when we cherish the birth of our Lord and Creator, God made man. And lastly, we just wanted to make a correction regarding a story that we reported yesterday about the new protection network, Operation Sacred Soil. The web address for the group is www.operationsacredsoil.com, which you can also access from our resource page by clicking on the link right outside the screen. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Michael talks about the falsehood of some Protestant perspectives on the Immaculate Conception. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure to tell all your friends about us, and as always, God bless you.